what we need.
Keep on rocking. Keep on rocking.
Who's the best?
Keep on rocking. Keep on rocking.
Hello, welcome to the What Do You Mean cast. Hope you're all doing good today. My name is Josh, aka Phoenix Rising, and I'm joined by my co-hosts. Okay, I was muted on Discord, so you guys didn't hear any of that intro, so that was fun. So, once again,
Classic Judge.
I know, classic me, two weeks in a row, muting something. So, once again, name's Josh, aka Phoenix Rising. My co-hosts are joined to me today are, as always, guys.
Charles.
Yes.
I'm Professor Toaster.
And I'm Russ, RamenCipher.
Here we go.
That's so weird, Russell. You're right. It does not mute, even if you mute it on the thing. That's weird.
Yeah, it is
Yeah,
a little
click it.
strange. Yeah,
Do you have a Steel Series?
No,
No, I have
he's
a
got
Turtle Beach. Is mine muted right now?
No, we can hear
No,
you.
it's. Wait, talk now?
See,
No, it's muted then. That's so weird to me.
Oh, okay.
Alright, that was just a weird thing. That must be a Steel Series and Discord problem.
So we were
Okay,
all
my bad.
having just fun audio issues this morning. So again, welcome to the What Do You
That's
Mean
weird.
cast. If you want to hit us up on Twitter, Insta, or YouTube, Russ posted those right there, right above me, welcoming everybody in. Twitter is What Do You Mean C3. It's same with the Instagram, and the YouTube is official What Do You Mean podcast. Hit us up there. We just uploaded last week's episode today, so if you need to get caught up after today's cast and everything. As always, we start the show off with a recap of what we did this week. Boys, how was your gaming this week?
I only started my gaming on Thursday evening. I was with work and everything. I only got to start that. I've only really been playing one game. I mean, we've been two games. I've been playing like S2 games. I've been playing that SD Gundams, but G Generation Cross Ray.
Yeah.
That game's fun. I've done already like I think almost like 10 hours into that game.
Yeah, I was
If
like
not more.
playing it most of all of Friday. You even streamed a little bit.
Yeah, I streamed I think like 4 hours of it. Yeah, because that's like when my G Gundam thing was pretty much done. So it's like fun if you like games. Like I guess the easiest analogies would be like Final Fantasy Tactics or Fire
Fire
Emblem.
Emblem.
I think Fire Emblem's a much better one. to
Yeah, I
pick.
think Fire Emblem's a better pick. Better.
Yeah,
comparison.
because Russell also has it. You just haven't put as much time as I had.
No. Yeah, like I was playing it last night a bit. It was fun.
But the game's fun. I mean, if you like Fire Emblem, it's great. And then you get to play pretty much not anything that is not the UC timeline of Gundam, which is like the original timeline stuff. But I mean, I've been having fun. I mean, I did my DLC stuff. I got my Burning Gundam. I was pretty happy about that. And then the other game I've been playing is Temtem.
Man,
But we've all been playing that, so we can
played
talk
Tim
about that a
Tim.
little
Yeah,
bit.
we played Tim Tim for like hours yesterday.
Let me see. What does my Steam say? We at least played it for 6 hours yesterday.
Oh, minimum, we played it for 6 hours yesterday. Tim Tim was great. If you guys haven't played Tim Tim, if you got a PS5 or a PC, like you and
Get
you
it
like
on
and you,
PC.
and you
Get
like
it on
Pokemon,
PC.
and you like
18
and you
hours of
and you
Temtem.
like and you like Pokemon. Tim is
It's like
extremely
fake.
good.
It's just a good Fakeamon game. It's a. I mean, let's be honest. It's
Oh, of
it's a
course.
Fakeamon game.
But they
it's
make so many
amazing.
improvements over what everyone's been bitching about Pokemon should do. Like the PP system's gone. Like you just have a stamina bar, which is really cool. I like that it's all open world kind of co-op, which again which is kind of what like the open
Pokemon
world
kind
thing.
of started to do
Yeah, with
that, but
Sword
it
and
doesn't do a
Shield.
good job
Yeah.
with it.
No, it's poorly implemented, which is most things online and Nintendo.
Thanks, Nintendo.
Yeah, thanks Nintendo for ruining everyone's fun. Russ, what have you been doing gaming this week?
I mean, I've been doing a little bit of the Cross Gundams a little bit, not a lot, not as much as Charles, but a little bit of that, and then the Tim Tams, and I've been played a shit ton of Anthem. I'll be honest,
How was it?
I loved every second.
I don't know. You have they changed much with it? I mean, I know now they've actually released some of the content they said, but other than that, or you just waiting for Anthem 2.0?
Everyone who likes Anthem's waiting for 2.0, but like at the end of the day, I mean, I'll go into it more when we talk about our main topic because I think it ties into that pretty well.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I think it's a good example.
But I just had fun with it. It's just I forgot how much I liked it.
Nice. I played a
yeah,
little bit with
Anthem's
you.
fun.
I played a little bit with you that first night you re-downloaded it after we realized 2.0 actually has release date now.
Oh, does it?
never
When is that
released
coming
it.
out?
I
I
thought you
just know
said.
it said 2021. I know it said the year.
Oh well, that's more than what we had before. So
Yeah.
2021 is a long time, so
yeah, we just
Yeah.
started it, but
Like if that shit came out in Christmas, that'd be good.
yeah, but I mean, I had fun with you. Like it felt like Anthem, except a little bit more in tune from when I was playing because we all poured a crap ton of hours into it when it first came out.
yeah.
So
It's a fun game. I mean, I don't own a copy anymore. I mean, I sold my copy, but
I got my physical copy.
we have EA Access. What was EA Access that thing?
Yeah, the thing's free there, so that's fine.
EA Access is only $1 on Steam right now. Just let me know for that first month, just in case. Curious.
Ooh.
I was
That
playing
might,
on the PS4.
that might
But
be.
it's only the Steam version, not the standard EA version. So you only get the Steam library across.
That's okay. That's okay.
I was playing it on the PlayStation 4.
Oh, good old
That's-
PS4. That's good stuff. I didn't do much like Charles. Work kept me from gaming too terribly much this week.
Yeah, like I didn't really touch a game till probably.
Yeah. I streamed Yakuza, my start of the Yakuza run, on Tuesday, I believe, here. And
You've been streaming that.
forgot how good that game was, and I'm very excited to go back through at least 0 and then play Kiwami through 5 or 6. Come on, 1 through 6 because it gets me hyped for that. And then but then we played fucking Temtem, like all of yesterday, pretty much. And
I played a lot of Temtem
that
yesterday.
had a lot of fucking fun with it. And like I woke up I even like so much to the point that I went to bed last night like researching like okay what to do, who's a good team.
You
things
started
like
off
that.
your morning playing that, didn't you?
Yeah,
That's how
I
you
woke
were
up.
on.
Yeah, I woke up around like 7:30 and I did some stuff around the house and everything, and then I hopped on the PC and I was like, all right, I'm gonna research some stuff for the cast. But first, let me grind some Temtem real quick.
I know, I just fired mine up just to swap my things around in my Gundam Cross thing because you get
I saw you
there's a
booted up
real world
yesterday.
timer thing onto it. To some of your things, you can send your units out. So I just got back, put that on, and shut the game down.
Nice.
Yeah, I still need to figure out that system.
Charles had a
I
really
can
awesome.
do with
Yeah,
it.
Charles had a
You
really
have to
awesome
live
dude.
stream it. It's easier for me to explain it while you live stream it or something.
Yeah, a dude
Yeah,
in
I'll
a
do
dude
that
in
later.
his chat was helping him out like a shit ton
Oh
with
yeah,
the features.
like
That
I'm
dude was an MVP.
I'm pretty well now versed into it that I can help somebody with it. But that one guy, I was basically cheating when that guy was helping me.
Yeah, that dude was an MVP. The dude was really good.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, well that's good. Chat, feel free to chime in with what you did this week for gaming, anything like that, or what have you had a good week. As we get on here, our topic today is a really interesting one. It's one that is hotly debated in the gaming community and something I kind of wanted to bring up and kind of talk about. We hinted at some stuff about it last week when we were talking about some of the questions we were asking and everything, but it's what matters more in a game, story or gameplay. And we already shoot just in prep before we just kind of relaxed. We're having some really good debate.
We almost got into the discussion
like
while we weren't on.
Yeah, we almost got heavily into the discussion just talking about it because it's something that is just intriguing as heck to think about, and you don't quite. What Charles I think you said it best in precast, where it's extremely subjective.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know if there's ever going to be a side we can fall on, but there are really good debates to have either way. I know where I lie as far as it goes. I think for me, story is the more important thing, but that's for me personally. Let's just get that out of the way first. What everyone thinks is the more important thing, and we'll go on to discuss why we think that provide examples and things like that. Cheryl, what's the most important thing to you?
I'm on the fence about it. I mean, I haven't good examples of why I'm on the fence about it. That's why I'm not gonna. Russell, stop playing RuneScape. I'm just messing with you.
Just updating it, bro.
Just update
but I mean, I'll give examples later about why I'm on the fence about it.
Yeah,
Because there are some games that are like I said in the pre-show, it's a very, very, very subjective thing, and I honestly think it depends on the game. I 1000% think that it's a game by game thing. It isn't necessarily like a whole like a game industry thing as a whole.
I feel that.
how do you feel? How do you like outside? Like Russ, you got care to give your thoughts real quick before we dive into the big discussion?
So, like he said, it's a case by case thing, right?
Yeah.
Because I mean, we could go into movies, and if the story's jack shit, no one's gonna like that shit.
I think the best example, if you're using movies, I think the best example is, in my opinion, the best example for that is, since we were kind of talking about it earlier today, was Pacific Rim, for example. Like, the plot of that movie's not good. But you're not really watching Pacific
But you're not
Rim.
there for the story, though.
You're there to watch giant robots beat the shit out of other things. Like,
Exactly.
you're not there for
But you
the
could
plot.
argue that's part of the story, though. See, the difference between movies and gaming is movies you have no input into it. That's going to play out regardless of what you don't have any interaction with that other than ha 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 hoo hoo ha ha. Gaming, you are in control of things as from a character's perspective.
For the most part, but
There
I
are-
mean,
there are-
a lot of games that are like, hey, these are all stage sequences. You can't fucking change it. This is what you get.
Yeah,
I
but
think for games,
you know?
it's because there's a level of interaction, right? You don't interact with
Yeah.
a movie; you just watch. But in a game, you participate.
yeah, and that's where the debate by gameplay versus storyline or story is so hotly debated because, like, I understand like there are games where the story is shit, but god dang, you love just jumping in, or the story's shallow. Let's just say shallow. Shallow is a good way of putting it. The story's shallow, but you love just jumping in and being so crazy, and it's fun. And then you have games where it's light on mechanics, but the story is extremely rich and rewarding. A prime example of that for me, as far as a story, and I haven't played this personally, but I've heard it from my fiance, is a game that's really light on mechanics, but incredibly good story, is What Remains of Edith Finch.
Is what?
What Remains of Edith Finch.
Let me look this game up.
Isn't that the one where you're like just walking around like an
No,
Is this
that's
the walking simulator game?
no, that's Dear Esther is walking around an island.
That's the one.
Yeah, that's Dear Esther. So
This doesn't look like my.
no, Charles, it would not be your kind of game. But the story is extremely good. It is engaging. It's heartfelt. It's funny. It's sad. It hits all the emotional triggers.
But is it still kind of like a walking simulator? Like Dear
It's
Esther,
it's
basically?
not
there's-
like a. It doesn't look like
it's
a
not-
super-
You walk through, you get your story. Shit,
It's not
you
a
keep
pure walking
around.
simulator, but it's light mechanically. Like there's some minor puzzle solving and things like that, but it's very
Oh,
light.
okay.
It's light mechanically.
Hmm.
It's very light mechanically. Another good
It's like,
example:
what's that
Hellblade.
game with the- Which one?
Hellblade.
Which one?
Very light mechanically, very basic combat system, couple puzzle solving, but you're there for the story, and the story's what drags you in, not the
Oh.
combat.
Hellblade was that game that was like super big.
Yeah, Senua's Sacrifice. Yeah.
Isn't that one getting a sequel?
Hell yeah, it is. Game looks great. I'm excited. But that's why I think story matters most, because I'm talking about like those two games, for example. Like I really like. I'll talk about the story more than anything in those. And that's what draws me. Again, if I go on a game like I love Final Fantasy VIII, I love that story. Time compression, orphanage, all that stuff. Like all that cool storyline. In most Final Fantasy games, I dig for the story, because most Final Fantasy games are.
It has a story.
I
Oh,
mean,
you
outside
meant part of
I
the
thought it was
outside
just
of
Triple Triad, bro.
outside of
Triple
collecting cards.
Triad.
Funny enough, you say that, Russ. You want to get into it? There's a whole Triple Triad sub story that leads like there's like a tournament arc
No.
and like
Oh.
a hierarchy you have to fight through to reach like the big like top boss of Triple Triad.
Fuck
Like
up.
Yugi Moto
It's
himself.
so
Shut the
good.
fuck up.
It's so good.
No.
Yes.
You just want me to play that fucking game. Oh.
I know what you want from me, dude. It's really good. No, there's that whole
I'm gonna
subplot.
see if there's only a Triple Triad game.
There's not. I wish there was. I really wish like
yeah.
Triple
14, you
Triple
go.
Triad was so good. Triple Triad is such a good sub game. It's in 3 Final Fantasy games. That's how good of a fucking card game
What's
it
the
is.
third one?
Final Fantasy 9. It made a return
there
literally
is
the
a
next
Triple
game.
Triad game.
Oh, it's a
actually.
9. Oh,
Yeah, it's a
okay.
9 as
I never
well.
played.
Only for iPhones.
It's only for iPhones. Boo! I don't have one of those.
Man.
Triple Triad's so good. But no, that's why I think for me personally, and again, as we say, this
I'm
is
gonna
extremely
download it.
subjective. Of course you are.
Uh,
Story
I
is
played more.
is seems to be a more important part of anything, because what drives you to want to play the gameplay? What drives you? Again, I brought up Spider-Man in the pre-show because it's a great example of both things being great, just which one's more important. You wouldn't care to feel or do anything with Spider-Man if you didn't love the story of Spider-Man. If you didn't want
that's true.
to do anything, because you're not projecting yourself onto anything. You're basically getting the feeling of being Miles or Peter or things like that. Like you're getting that feeling. It's not like a create a character RPG where you're projecting yourself onto this thing, putting yourself in the story. You're getting that feeling of Spider-Man, and you wouldn't want to
but
get that
I think
gameplay
people
feeling.
Then it comes into the discussion as this is: would anyone have cared if it wasn't a Spider-Man game?
That's true.
Yeah.
Because there's that one Legend of Zelda game that everyone likes, right? That's
Breath
what's
of
the
the
one
Wild.
that you guys played?
Breath of the
The
Wild.
free roaming one?
Breath of the Wild.
Breath of the Wild.
Breath of the Wild. Would anyone have cared if it wasn't Legend of Zelda on it?
Funny enough, we have an answer to that, and it's in the it's in the form of Immortals: Phoenix Rising. So
Yeah,
turns
that
out,
is true.
yeah, people would care if it's still.
And you
there.
could even say Genshin Impact.
you
you
could
know?
you could say Genshin Impact. I lean more
Like-
towards the Phoenix Rising thing, because it's literally like I was drawing comparisons to that this week. Like there's literally 4 main bosses, 1 center castle. Everything is set up almost identically map wise to Breath of the Wild. You just don't have the weapon degradation system, which was heavily pooped on when Breath of the Wild came out.
Man, I hated that thing.
There you go.
So I think that's like an instance like I don't necessarily think that it all like Spider-Man is a game where you can have the best of both worlds, right?
Yeah.
It's one of those
Like-
few ones where you get the nice equilibrium.
Exactly. I think another example is Horizon Zero Dawn. I mean, the gameplay is good and the story is good, right? Uncharted, I mean, maybe not one, but
Second week in a row we brought up how shitty Uncharted 1 is.
yeah.
So you think
Yeah,
Spider-Man's such a
Spider-Man's
good
got a
one?
huge following.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I do think that Spider-Man had the backing of a huge. Nobody would have given a
Okay.
shit if it was a Fantastic Four game. Nobody would have cared.
Oh no,
Yeah,
I
people
even
would,
made the
well,
joke. I
people
was like,
would-
nobody would have cared if you were playing as Johnny Storm. Nobody
But,
would have
but people
Oh,
would
the
have though.
game
There are
is
people that
bigger
care
shit.
about like if it's a well again. I like what Lucifet's saying here. I like this because you're right. No one would have cared about would have cared no matter what story they're telling. You're right. But you care enough about the story being told. Again, I don't know if this is like I don't know if we want to keep it just to video games, but again, you care about the story in the comics. Therefore, you want to play this story that they presented to you.
No, exactly.
Here.
But it has the backing of a name with it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, Cheryl,
Like,
you brought up
that's-
you brought up a
That's the
good thing
big
too.
thing.
Horizon.
I
Kinda
do
like-
think. Yeah. What's up, Russell? You said?
like I think a good example of that would be like the whole backing with a name and all that. Like, fucking that dog shit game, The Marvel's Avengers. I literally only got that
thinking that. I was just thinking
because Spider-Man was on there,
Mm-hmm.
and I still don't have
You
Spider-Man,
still not
bro.
out.
What's funny about that game is people praise the single player story for being actually really good.
Well, the
It's okay.
single player story is good. It's not, like anywhere near touching their previous games, Tomb Raider.
Man, Tomb Raider story.
yeah.
is
But
really
I mean,
good.
it's okay.
No, I'll give it this for like essentially like coming up with a whole brand new another Marvel universe in a game again for this. But that's a good example. It was like, would the Avengers game, for example, have been? Would anyone have cared if it wasn't an Avengers game? No, right? It's I think a name when it comes to stories and gameplay and all that stuff. Like your name that you have associated with it is a big thing.
Okay, let's take all that out then.
Okay, then let's be honest. The Avengers game, the story's not too bad. It's not that great, but it's not too bad.
Okay, let's focus on
And
examples that don't have a name backing. As soon as you're done, sorry.
So something that doesn't, I'm trying to think of something that doesn't have a name backing. Because what nowadays doesn't have a name backing it? That's a big like game.
You said Horizon. Horizon had no. That was a fresh
So
IP when it came.
Horizon, I honestly think is a rare instance that gameplay and story just happen to be good, right? But there are games. I mean, an example is when we've been playing Risk of Rain, for example. There's a story in Risk of Rain, like literally no story.
What do you mean? The story is survive.
Exactly. But there's an example
Destroy
right
Moonboss
there.
Man.
You're not playing Risk of Rain for the story. You're playing Risk of Rain for the fun, for the gameplay.
Yeah.
You don't play a racing game for the story. You play a racing game for the gameplay. So that's why I think that it's a very it's a specific it's a subjective thing. That
It is subjective.
depending on what you're playing is going to depend on what you should expect. You don't play a sports game because you're thinking about an awesome story, unless you're talking about Captain Tsubasa, which even then has a terrible story. But
I play the basketball game so I can play as Michael Jordan.
exactly,
I want to be
right.
Jordan.
And I'm just saying that it really depends. Like Disgaea, for example, I think a good example is the Disgaea series. It's the same game, and each new iteration of the game is a brand new story. Some people hated 3, for example. That's the one where you're in the demon high school, like you're a
Yes.
student.
I was trying to remember what 3 stories.
People did not like that one, and I don't blame them. It was, in my opinion, one of the weakest ones in the series. But the gameplay,
I mean, the weakest one hasn't
I
come
was
out
saying,
yet.
but see, that's the thing. But what made it a weak one in the series? The story did, because people care about the story in the Disgaea games.
Exactly. That is a
So-
game that people care about the story because the gameplay doesn't change.
Gameplay's
Right.
good though. Gameplay's solid in Disgaea. If you
The
like,
gameplay is
if you like
solid
turn-based
game.
tactical stuff, gameplay's solid in Disgaea.
But if I had to watch the Disgaea series, I would be okay with that. If I didn't have a game to play with it, I mean, it would have made a decent anime.
There are animes.
There's a 1.
I thought there were 2. I thought there's one based on 5 and one based on 1.
No, it's not one based off 5. I would have watched it, trust me.
Okay, so then the one that's out is based off the first game. Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha. I swore there was one based on 5.
No, yeah. I was hoping there'd be one based off 2. But that's a whole discussion for another time.
Yeah, but like there's other. I guess Russ is dealing. Oh, Russ is dealing with a goose. Are you dealing with a goose?
Okay. Yeah, I'm dealing with a goose.
Okay.
Mm,
So like we've established that like it's extremely subjective and everything. Like, oh hi goose, what are you doing, girl?
no. You see my madam is sleeping right here.
Yeah, I see her. None of my dogs are in here. I'd show them off. So we've established that it could be extremely subjective and on a case-to-case basis, but we still haven't gotten down to like what one makes or breaks something. Like I still think we could find probably a solid answer somewhere. Like for example, like let's take something that has pure gameplay.
Cyberpunk.
Let's take something that has pure gameplay, no story, that is extremely popular to watch, and that's
What?
anything esports.
Esports games? So like League of Legends, StarCraft,
League,
anything
CS:GO, things like that. They are purely gameplay things.
Like that. Okay, yeah.
What makes you want to?
Call of Duty?
Yeah, Call of Duty is a good example.
What makes you want to watch streams of that? It's
I
the
guess
at least
it's
for
entertainment
me.
value. It's watching
Well,
somebody be
I think
much
that's more of
better
a
than you.
personality. It's the streamer personalities.
That's
for
true,
me.
Okay,
that
let's say
helps.
you're watching a tournament where the commentators are
There's
something.
watch a tournament. Yeah, like
Yeah,
a, like
say
a
the
StarCraft
commentators.
tournament, for example.
Yeah.
Like,
You are pulled in by what the story these commentators are weaving for you. You're pulled in by that. At least personally, I am. I'm pulled in by the personality of the things over a game that shit. I remember watching a CS:GO tournament. I knew nothing about CS:GO, but I was like, I was hyped just because like the commentators did such a good job telling the story of these two teams, telling the story of this guy who's done this, and like it's a game that has. I don't care about the gameplay. I'm concerned about the story that they're bringing in.
All that is happening. Yeah, they're talking about shit outside the game.
But it got me interested in the game. I don't care about the gameplay.
Oh, I've never seen you play CS:GO.
I've never seen you play it either.
No, I mean like it got me interested to watch the game.
No, I know, I'm teasing.
Oh,
I get that. Yeah, it got me interested to watch the game. So again, I know I said in the beginning, like story drags me in more than gameplay does. If the gameplay is great. I'll stick around longer. But if the story's great too, I'm there for the long haul.
I'm gonna say for me it has to be, I don't know, because I love a game like Uncharted, which is an amazing story, and I mean the gameplay is really solid past one. Like it's a lot of fun. I played every single one, but then I have like a game like the Total War series. I think that one's a pretty decent example, right? I love Total War Warhammer too. Played lots of hours into it, but I do not like Total War Troy.
I'm glad we can share that sentiment because I'm not a fan of Troy.
And I get why.
Troy yet.
And it was like free. If I was gonna say,
I have it on the Epic Store.
Oh, you got the free version?
Yeah. I haven't tried it yet, but
that one there, I don't like Troy because I don't like the gameplay. I love the story of Troy. I love all of that, but I don't like what they did with the systems and stuff. It's very light, medium, heavy. I don't like it. I know there's people that do like it.
Yeah.
But there's a reason Warhammer is still shelling out tons of money. Like what they have. I mean, I have my Steam pulled up. I mean, I can tell you how many DLCs they even did in the game now.
Yeah.
They have over 38 DLCs.
Yeah.
Now for that.
I mean, if you're comparing that, I mean, Warhammer's been out longer than Troy.
No, but even then, like the systems on the two are completely different. So on Warhammer, it's very basic. Like a lot of it is straight up rock paper scissors. Like spears beats calves, swords beats spears. Like it's the simple linear things. But with Troy, a lot of it is like you can have a sword unit, or you can make a variant of that sword unit who is slower but has more armor, and now can beat who's supposed to beat them. It's like it's way too many. Like they did way too much. And the game isn't also very visually appealing in the menu. And based on how Total War has always done all of their games, like they're not going to overhaul the whole visual thing to appease people. That's just like how it's going to look.
Right.
So I do think that that's an example right there. I don't really care too much about the gameplay. It's a make it or break it thing for that. I like the story of Troy and stuff, but I mean, I still play Warhammer Total War because the gameplay is solid. I think the world they have is super interesting. I don't read Warhammer novels, but the bits of lore and stuff that I get in the game, I think is really cool. But I wouldn't necessarily say it's a make it or break it because if there was no story, I would still enjoy Warhammer 2.
So you're definitely leaning towards you like a good gameplay over any story. You want to be engaged by the gameplay more than over a story. So to speak.
But I think that when it comes to this particular subject, like I said, it's a subjective thing. I mean, like you can't just because I say I prefer gameplay over something. When it comes to a game like Uncharted, for example, a game that I love the story and that if I still had to use the same gunplay from 1 through all of the series, I still.
Okay, well that right there, like you said you wouldn't play it if you had to use the gunplay throughout all.
No, I would.
You still would? Okay.
If I had that terrible gunplay, I would still. And that's a game series right there. Then it's completely, like I said, it's different. Was it one of my favorite streamers plays Mario?
Oh yeah, Lucifer said something. Yeah. Okay. So, I guess what she's saying there is like, I get what she's saying
because human element to it.
It's a human element, and like you're just entertained by that, and I guess that could make like I was entertained by the commentating and the stories they were telling more than the game itself.
What about Temtem? Let's use Temtem. Do you guys know the story of Temtem?
It's the generic Pokemon story.
Is it? I have not read a single bit of dialogue in this game.
It's a generic Pokemon story. You've been tasked with going out and exploring this world and doing everything, and collect these monsters along the way to beat the dojos, gyms, blah blah blah. It's the same story. No, I'm not sticking around for Tim's story. I will admit Tim's gameplay keeps me coming back more than anything there. Because
So then there you're not a story person then you're a gameplay person, especially when it comes to that game. You see, it all depends on what you're playing.
I mean that's true, but like
I don't think that there's going to be like a solid point. What about you, Russell? How about this? Let's use Russell for example. You like the Halo series. No,
Yeah.
but you
Yeah.
play the Halo series. So what is it? Is it a story or is it a gameplay thing for you when it comes to Halo?
It's both for Halo for me. Cause I mean, the gameplay is, I mean, you get different guns, right, throughout
Mhm.
all of them, but it's mostly consistent from the first game throughout. I mean, yeah, they add in like the abilities and shit or whatever, but like, I mean, for me personally, I'm coming back for the big man in green, bro. But
What
like,
happens if they didn't come back to Master Chef?
okay, yeah. So speaking of which, ODST and Reach, did you enjoy those games?
like, I enjoyed the story of ODST. I loved the shit out of everything that Reach existed about. I just, I think it's just the whole feeling of being a.
Then what about why didn't you like? Was it 4 that they didn't have Master
It was
Chief?
5.
It was 5. Oh, we're at 5. Oh, okay.
Where they straight up admitted that they didn't even realize Master Chief was a character, and I'm like, bro, there's 4 freaking games out with this dude. He's
Yeah.
on the cover. He's on the
Yeah,
box.
but he's not
art,
the
bro.
MC.
He's not the main character. He's not the MC. He's not the Master Chief.
He's not the
MC.
Master Chief.
But yeah, I mean, even 5, like I shit on that game all the time every time it comes up for the story, but the multiplayer and the gameplay, I fucking love it, dude.
Yeah, you do admit that you love 5's multiplayer a lot.
And like the 3 missions where you play as a chief, I'm here for it. They were tight. Like the gameplay for the campaigns were cool. I like them. I just like the story just wasn't it for me. But I mean, I still am a Halo fan. I'm gonna get a Halo machine here in the fall when
So
Infinite drops.
at the end of the day, which in your opinion is more important then? When it comes to Halo,
Like,
is it Halo, or is
if
it
we're
a
using
thing where
Halo,
you
I'll
can't
say
pick?
gameplay.
You see?
Just because for a game like that, an FPS, like that's what's gonna keep you coming back and playing the multiplayer. That's the replayability factor right there.
Like Call of Duty, for example. Right?
Just like
I don't
Call
think
of Duty, yeah.
I haven't played
You're
a
not-
single bit of
You're
Cold
not gonna
War
go
story.
through and play the campaign 10,000 times. You know,
Yeah.
you're coming back to play multiplayer.
I'm in it to watch.
And if the
Russell grind
gameplay's
for
not
Damascus.
solid, like why are you there? You know.
Well, none of us are
I
there at
think-
the moment.
None
None
of
of
us
them-
Damascus at the moment. What? Russell,
I have
come
Damascus.
on.
I got Damascus.
God.
You got Damascus in Modern Warfare. Cold War is the
Yeah,
other
I
thing.
got
That's
Marvel.
Cold
War.
War.
No, I'm talking about
None of
Cold
us
War.
are.
Matter.
None of us are there.
I'm
But you see,
waiting
this-
for them to put a nice, little anti-cheat system in there.
Good
Yeah.
luck.
That ain't gonna happen.
But
I'm gonna get Warhammer 3 by the time that comes out.
in contrast, I'd say The Last of Us. Like I could give less of a fuck about the gameplay of The Last of Us, but I'm here for the story. I mean, initially I didn't give a fuck about the story either. Josh heard me.
Oh.
I was so upset with you whenever you
Josh
were
was
like,
genuinely
have a-
pissed at me.
No,
I
but I
was-
have another example. I have another example then of that exact same thing.
I was.
Is Death Stranding. No, but this is where it's
Go ahead,
different
go
between
ahead,
me
yeah.
and Russell,
Yeah, go.
right?
Fire
Like,
away.
He's using The Last of Us as his example, right? And I agree. I think The Last of Us has good gameplay and good story, but I will admit the gunplay kind of sucks.
You come back to Last of Us because of the story it's telling you.
Yeah.
Yeah. But even then, it's not like I'm playing.
But I like playing Last of Us multiplayer. I'm waiting for Last of Us 2 multiplayer. Like,
You're
like
a
the
big
multiplayer.
You're a big multiplayer guy. You like doing multiplayer things.
I mean, that's what
Sometimes, yeah, it depends on the game,
brings
though.
people back to a game.
Yeah,
Like,
it brings. Yeah.
story can only do so much when you already know all the twists and what's exactly going to happen. You know.
Yeah, but it's
Like I beat Horizon Zero Dawn. I was like, I didn't go back to that game, not because the game's terrible, but I did everything. I beat the game.
But that's what sticks with you though.
Like a weird non-decision based one. It's like it's going to be the same every.
Mm-hmm.
Like I get that, but like that shit, like the story sticks with me longer than the gameplay. I'll talk more about a story than I do about the gameplay of a game 9 times out of 10. Like, especially if it's a game where, like, again, we'll use Death Stranding, we'll use Last of Us, we'll use Uncharted, we'll use all that stuff as an example, where you're finding the balance between the two, where it's not just pure gameplay versus pure story.
What's this Tsushima?
Yeah,
Talks
Ghost.
about that too.
I will talk more about the impact that story had on me and everything, more than I will talk about how sick it was to do a 5-person showdown or standoff in Ghosts. I will talk more about everything, and I know there's people, I don't want to spoil too many things in chat if people haven't played the game, about things that happen between Act 2 and 3.
Like a game. What about like the
showdowns? Like, fucking
yeah, but what about games like what is it? Who's it that makes Risk of Rain? They also made the one with the robots. I can't remember it. Becoming Human, Being Human, something like that.
Yeah, I think that's the. I honestly think that's Hopo
You know
games.
what I'm talking
Hopo
about.
games, or like Hopo.
Hopo. What? Hopo.
Wait, no, wait. You're talking about? Oh, you mean Heavy Rain? You said Risk of Rain. Heavy Rain.
Oh no, I meant Heavy Rain.
Yeah,
What
you
else
said
did we
Detroit.
talk
Detroit
about
going.
next?
That's
Quantum Dream.
Quantum
Those are
Dreams.
all-
Quantum Dreams.
Those are
So
all
like Detroit Becoming Human.
yeah, like I said, those are all decision based games. You're gonna have a different outcome.
Yeah, so you'll come back to that time and time again.
Like
Yeah, but
my stupid ass will just do what the game tells me, and I'll just put my controller down when they're like, "Yo, stay here."
I was whenever I found out side story.
Yeah, they
When
got
I
pissed off at
Russell
you, didn't they?
Russell was like
Waiting
I got
for like a month.
Russell's like I got Kira killed. I was like, how'd you do that? He's like I was a good little robot and I waited downstairs while he did all his
Like,
shit, while Bill
You
did
know,
all his shit.
conversation started with them. They're like, "Yo, this cool thing happened with this one character." I'm like, "What the fuck are you talking about, bro? She's dead as fuck in my game."
Yeah, dude.
Then she did this thing and stuff, and I'm like, "What?" I just stood there, and then I died apparently.
Yeah, I just don't think that. I think the game industry needs to really get over like which is more important, gameplay or story. They need to get over it because it's also a personal preference thing too, right? Like I love Death Stranding. Russell doesn't like Death Stranding. I think the story of Death Stranding is super cool. No, but I'm just saying, it's like I think the story is
The
super
story,
cool.
like I've told Josh multiple times, like I'm pretty 90% sure there's some sick ass shit waiting for me if I keep going deeper, but the gameplay is just so fucking boring to me.
You see?
I have
The
zero.
gameplay, but I love the gameplay. I think it's a great game. But like I said, you see, then it's a personal taste thing. That's why I think when it comes to game, like if it's a story or if it's a gameplay thing, that you won't meet. There's not going to be a common ground on it. It's just
I think it's more like a genre kind of thing.
maybe.
You're not playing strategy games. Fucking. I mean, if you're playing like SD,
I mean,
See,
I
but-
enjoyed.
you're here for the Gundam shit, right?
But the
like,
thing with those strategy games though is like, again, going back to like I'm all in on this story aspect. You make like that's one of those things where you kind of make your own stories. Like the story, like you could be like, dude, I played fucking SD today, and there's this crazy thing that happened. I had to counteract this, and you tell a story over this battle you had and all the tactics you had to use and everything like that to
That's a
overcome
gameplay
it.
thing.
Well,
then.
once again,
No,
that's a game.
you're telling me the story. Like you're telling me what
No,
happened.
but that's not the discussion. It's not my experience and my story to tell you. It's the story of the game
Okay,
itself.
so this is where we differ because I view that as like a story that unfolded in front of my eyes. It's not just putting players on a map. To me, there's something that's unfolding there and something I have to overcome, and there's a story I make in my head and
So
everything.
you're there, the story that's happening outside of the
You
game.
care more about like
Yes.
a personal experience. and the
No, it's not
story
a
that
personal
comes from it.
experience. Like there's this like I'm using like in my
Like the CS:GO thing. Like he's there. He's more there for the story that's going on outside of the game that the devs had zero part in. Like, oh, this team over here has been trying to beat these guys for like 2 years.
That's what brought me
and,
in.
You know, all that
Yeah.
shit.
Like your experience as a player.
yeah, like I want my experience to be like a story driven experience. I want
But then
I
at
want
that
to be
point-
emotionally invested in something.
But then at that point, it would be a gameplay thing, right? Because you wouldn't care about what I said about SD if I didn't like SD for its gameplay, right? Like I could like tell you,
if
like,
you're
yeah,
passionate-
I'm burning Gundam to destroy fucking Patrick Collisar for like the 5th time today.
Yeah.
Why would you kill yourself like that?
Yeah.
Collisar's the best character.
I mean,
That's
why would
you,
you
bro.
do that?
I love
But no,
that
but like
character.
your passion and your storytelling, your ability to tell me what's going on gets me interested in something. Like that holds my interest. Like you could tell me like if you came up to me, this is a prime example of why I prefer story over gameplay. If you came up to me and went, "Hey, SD Gundam Cross Generation plays like Fire Emblem in space," I'd be like, "Cool, I've seen that a million times." But if you come to me and you tell me, "Hey, I got to use these characters from these stories we love," like again, Patrick Hollisauer, Domon, everybody, Burning Gundam, God Gundam, Master Gundam, all that stuff. It's stuff I'm familiar with. Okay. Latch me in. What'd you do? Here's this battle. Here's what happened. Shit, I'm in. I want to check this out. Your story and your experience. No, that's an experience you had, and you told me the story of your experience. Your story of your experience got me interested. You described the gameplay to me, and I was lackluster by it. It's move players around on a grid. Cool. That's the gameplay. Your story of what you did got me interested. Your story of what you did to do that got me interested. You may view that as gameplay because you're just describing the gameplay to me, but the way you described it and everything, and the way you broke down using characters I'm familiar with, especially in this SD Gundam, because granted, I liked watching you play it. I don't think I have really much interest in it, but watching you unfold these stories and hearing you tell me about these things got me interested. That pulled me in. That upped my interest in a game more than you just going, "Hey, it's a turn-based tactical RPG in space with Gundam characters." Cool, that's cool, but I'm not going to pull in from that. I'm going to pull in from your experience, the story you're weaving. So story means more to me, and experience means more to me than just a straight gameplay loop.
I don't know. I think when it comes to that, I was like, when I think of story, I think of the game story, not what somebody's telling me. I mean, I don't care about, like, if Russell tells me, I think that's where we're not seeing eye to eye on this discussion.
I think what me and Cheryl talking about is like the story that the devs are trying to convey to the player.
Exactly. The game itself, the story of the game itself, not me listening to Russell tell me about Halo. Me like actually playing it and being like, yeah.
Okay. Well, what
Master Chef is really cool.
Master Chef, bro. He's
Master
finishing
Chef is cool. He is cool.
Finished all of them.
No, kind of. He's got one more going, apparently.
Bro.
He's gonna go for Infinite.
Who's the villain now? Cortana, right?
Yeah, Cortana's the villain.
Yeah, I don't know how that happened. Do you see?
No, this big. There's a big.
On her, and now she hates humans. That's what happened.
Sick.
Sick.
Just like Skynet.
Just like Skynet. You put clothes on Skynet, they're gonna kill humans, bro. Crazy.
I think that's where me and Russell aren't seeing eye to eye with you on this. Is that when we talk about the story, we're talking about the game itself.
Okay.
Not what I'm telling you or what somebody else is telling you or what you read. It's something that you yourself as a gamer, when you fire up a game, when you fire up Sekiro, are you playing it?
I like the story in that. I thought that was a pretty sick ass story.
Exactly. But do you like the game? If the gameplay was something else, would you still have liked it?
If I'm playing Sekiro, I probably hate myself that day for some reason, you know, and I just want to punish myself.
Honestly, if the gameplay was different, would I still like it? Yes, because I think the story's intriguing.
There you go. I think that's the easiest way for us to like tell if we like the game or the gameplay. On if you like this game, if it played like another game, would you still like it?
Well, that's the whole thing too. Would and this is where this part of the argument comes in. Does gameplay dictate story? Does story dictate gameplay?
Yeah, you see, like I said earlier,
like if you changed up the gameplay of Sekiro, would it still be Sekiro? If you changed up the story, it definitely wouldn't be. But if you changed up the gameplay, could you tell the same story?
Could you swap out the game the game system for another game system? I think you could. I think Sekiro you could. I mean, I guess it would always depend on the game, right?
You could for Sekiro because it's its own friggin' IP. There's only one, you know.
Let's use The Last of Us, for example. Let's use The Last of Us 1, since we've all played The Last of Us 1. Would you still care about The Last of Us 1 if it played like an FPS?
Yes, because the story's intriguing.
You see?
Nope.
You see? Then there's the difference.
Yeah.
That was kind of the same disconnect with Cyberpunk. Like, I have to try extra hard if it's an FPS, trying to be an RPG. You know?
Would you care about Cyberpunk if you played it as a third-person shooter?
I would probably care about it astronomically more.
You see,
if it was a third.
So you're a very visual person, I guess. Then you want to see your character.
Like Elder Scrolls, like everyone shows it from the first part. I've never played those games in third
I've
person
never played it in
because I
third.
Oh, I don't play other
I
scrolls in
only-
first person. First person.
I want to see my bitch turn into a werewolf and shit. You know, I'm trying to see the grisly craziness. You
You
know,
went with the
and
werewolf path?
and
Cure
it's
that
like-
shit.
What are you doing about that?
especially more so for those like when you go and create a character. That's like I put time into making this freaking character. I want to see that bitch on the
Ooh,
screen.
here's
not
an
every time I
example.
look in a-
Then what about Xenoverse? You like Dragon Ball Xenoverse? I could
Yeah.
create a character in that.
I
I mean,
think
it's lackluster.
It is
but
lackluster, but
well, I think Russell goes back. Xenoverse is a
But-
prime example of where Russell goes back for the gameplay, not because the story's being told. Something new came out, let me beat it, let me
that
move
story,
on.
I don't even think Xenoverse technically even has. I mean, it has a
It
story,
does.
but I mean,
It
it has a story.
I mean, it's Dragon Ball story, just fixing the timeline.
I've read
And
pamphlets with like more in-depth story than that, but
You're just going fixing the Dragon Ball timeline. If you've watched Dragon Ball, you know the story.
exactly, you're just playing episodes with
Uh,
modifiers.
I will admit there is
mean,
there
and-
are times I'll take
and then-
gameplay over story
from that game,
You
freaking
see,
fire.
the times that you would pick gameplay over story, why is it that you pick it?
because I know the story. Pirate Warriors is a prime example. I've been playing Pirate Warriors a lot, the One Piece game. So they're just going over the One Piece stories over and over again.
Mhm.
I'm there
But
because
if it was,
I like playing
a
these
Musa-
characters.
it wouldn't have been. a
Yeah,
fight.
yeah.
No,
if it was
see-
not a Musou game, would you have played it?
Probably because that would make it much more intriguing. If they presented me, yeah, a One Piece RPG, which they kind of have. World Seeker is that it's a standalone story in the One Piece universe that's not canon.
If those games didn't have One Piece on the cover, would you have still bought them?
Probably because Musou games. Well, see, no, I say that
Then
I
there
don't
you
like.
go. You
I
like
say
Musou
that
games.
I say that I don't like Fire Emblem Warriors on either aspect.
No,
I
but
don't
you
like
don't
it.
like it because there's no visual thing on your weapon. Don't
Well,
like
that and I just don't care about the Fire Emblem story.
it. See,
Like
So
Fire
then-
Emblem, like Three Houses brings me in. Fates brought me in. Factions,
That
or
was
whatever it
weird.
was. Yeah, Fates was great.
I don't know if I
Fuck it.
played Factions.
I
don't
think
play
those
them.
the recent two are a bit more story heavy than all the other ones have been.
Like Three Houses was such a good story. Three
I
Houses
didn't
is
finish,
an incredible
but
story.
what I have played, like it's a lot more like, hey, you know, like Persona, like you want to build your relationships.
Yeah, and
You
that's
want to date? You want to be a
great.
teacher and date your students?
I
Yeah,
wanna-
man.
yeah. Give me Doro any day of the week. Hell yes.
Like even go down to like, oh, pick if you're a dude or a chick. Like, I mean,
It's like
I like it.
Conception. It's just like
sure. Yeah. I mean, Fire Emblem,
Sure.
but
love that game.
No, I don't.
Bait.
No, Conception is such like Conception
That
at its at a
you-
core
you-
at a core. I understand the gameplay mechanics and the story they're trying to tell. It's the implementation of both that I'm just like I'm uncomfortable by a lot of this.
It's my trash game. I love it.
The thing is, it's not a trash game though. Like it has a bunch of elements
Oh no,
I
that
like.
story's garbage.
There's a bunch of elements I like from like all things, but it's just presented in such a shit way.
You're making sure to have babies so that your babies can fight for you, and your baby is either a cleric or it can has a magnum when it's born. I was like, sick.
It's so weird. It's so strange to me.
What about something like Persona then? Let's use Persona 5. If
Okay.
Persona 5 did not play like Persona 5,
Would
would
I
you
play
care
it?
about a story?
Yes.
Because you like
I
the
think
story.
I like the story more than the gameplay. Of
You
Persona
see?
5.
Because Persona
But-
Persona 5 is just the
But-
same Persona game loop you've always done. The gameplay doesn't draw
Yeah,
you
you-
into Persona.
Or,
The story
or
does.
like, or if you want to go even deeper, like the Shin Megami Tensei just series as a whole.
as a
like,
whole.
I feel like I've cared more about the story.
Because I don't like the Shin Megami Tensei, like the overall. I don't like the whole like the overall bracket for it, but I like the specific Persona because that's not part of the Shin Megami Tensei series anymore. Now it's its own thing.
Right. Yeah. Now it's its own thing.
I like Persona, but I don't like the other.
Did you ever play fucking Digital Devil
The
Saga?
digital
Devil Saga?
Yeah, I have played it. I'm not a big fan of them.
Oh man, Digital Devil Saga games are cool.
It's literally the same game.
So is
too,
Nocturne.
like-
Nocturne's a great game too. Shin Megami Tensei Nocturne. That's also a very good game. That's more Persona than it is Digital Devil Saga.
Isn't that the one that's getting the
Yeah,
remaster?
Nocturne's getting a remaster. Yep.
But then, so that's where I said I was like, you see, there's some games here that you like the story for, and some games here that you like the gameplay for.
Because the game is
Yeah.
built around gameplay. Of course, I'll go play for the gameplay. Like,
And that's why I don't think that you have to like one or the other. But I do think that there are times that some is just better than the other. Like an example, I think is an MGS. MGS 5 was used Phantom Pain because that was the most recent.
I didn't like
like-
anything about MGS 5.
You don't like anything about MGS 5?
No, I thought the gameplay was a little jank and the story was the weakest of the MGS series. I go back.
Alright.
Speaking of story,
What about
I would
3?
go. I would go back and play Snake Eater any day of the week because that story is so damn good. Gameplay is very just like 1 and 2, but the story of Snake Eater is just mwah. It is peak MGS for me.
What about
Most-
4?
The
4 uses
movie?
same...
4 is just a fucking movie.
Hey, it's a cool movie.
It's a
Unbelievable.
really good movie though.
It's a good
that,
movie, but
Polago
4's just
is
a
an
fucking
actual,
movie.
like I think hour.
Metal Gear, I've always been interested in, I guess, the story more than the gameplay.
Exactly,
of Metal
right?
Gear.
Because not every Metal Gear game is the same, and all Metal Gear games are canon. Unfortunately.
Like, I mean,
Oh,
I think
God,
the
that
one,
is
the weakest
unfortunate.
one's probably 2, just because you play as fucking Raiden. But
That
you
doesn't
know,
make it weak.
it's
I will
good,
defend
whatever.
2 to the day I die. It's goofy and over the top. But
2?
it's goofy.
the worst one, bro. That man, come on, man. Dude's rolling around on roller skates with his little wine glass with a straw in it.
I don't like
And
Snap
Psycho
Battles,
Mantis
I'll be
isn't
honest.
goofy?
But that's not in 2.
Everyone
He's
praises
psychic.
Psycho Mantis
Come
for
on.
being this cool thing, but he's over the top and campy, and you're like shit on Fat Man?
I mean, Fat Man sucks.
Every-
Like, that's a weak ass
every-
boss fight.
Come on.
I'm trying to defend my MGS2, guys. Let me
Out of all the MGS, 2's got Fat Man, Vamp, and Fortune, bro. Come on.
Solidus is a really sick villain, though. I mean, it's weird that it's Raiden's
He's
dad.
okay,
But
but he's no bro. Come on.
he's just a clone that they actually allowed to age like a normal person.
I mean, that's what happens in 4 with Snick. So,
No, that's his rapid aging because he's not that old. I think he's
Oh,
like
that's
5 or 6 technically.
yeah.
I thought he was like 30 or something, but he looks
No,
like he's like
I don't know. I don't forget how it works, but he's rapid aged. Like,
yeah,
but Solidus is like an actual like normal age.
yeah.
Like
No, they
he's
let him.
the
Yeah,
age
they
that
let him age. I think that's why I like 3 a lot because it goes back to like
So if 3 played like 1,
I still like it. 3. I mean, basically, one laid the groundwork for stuff and it's good. 3 just refined it, in my opinion. 3 is like Metal Gear at its like peak because it's still got the stealth espionage stuff that everyone likes. With
but it's a whole lot more fun. 'cause you
but
gotta
with an
paint
incredibly
yourself.
compelling story. Everyone really liked 1 because it was like, hey, I'm this stealth. It's a stealth game with a lot of shit behind it, with a really good story, compelling gameplay, and everything like that. 3, again, it's the same gameplay loop, just refined, but that story is top tier. Plus, ladder boss.
Oh my god, the ladder. You also get the shortest boss fights in that game too.
I like the end where you
Yeah,
can
pretty sure.
Yeah, you can pop old. Yeah, you can either like dip out and let the old man die of old age, or you can pop him before you even see him too. You can take
Yeah.
that secret waterway and
Pop him.
pop the old man before you see
Yeah.
him.
see so
You get
cool.
the sniper and all that. Pop, boom.
Or what is it, the sorrow? If you don't kill a single person in the game, that's a very quick boss fight.
Yep, it's an incredibly quick boss fight. See, there's stuff like that that's intriguing. It's all story. It all ties back into the story of what you did and things like that. It's so cool. It's so cool. But I think we can all like, at least like it is definitely a subjective thing. We can all agree there that it is extremely subjective, and it should be like. I'm trying to think here where my train of thought was going with this because I lost it.
I think the video game industry as a whole needs to just get over the fact that like a gameplay and a story are separate things, and that like you can't. An example, I think a decent example is Pokemon in itself, right? Pokemon's the exact same game year after year. They like maybe add like 1 or 2 new things, but I mean you're not going back to Pokemon because the story's good. Story's not good. You don't care. You don't care.
Where's my
Same
dad?
story every time.
You're just playing for Pokemon. It's the same game. I don't play Mario games. I don't play Legend of Zelda games. I mean, I have no interest. Gameplay doesn't look that fun to me, and the stories are like so boring to me. It's the same stories.
I guess you're right.
Yeah.
Zelda does kind of do that, but it's the way they present it that makes it good. Like having voice
Hey, it
acted
depends.
Zelda in Breath of the Wild was a fucking trip.
What's
Yeah,
Link's
because it's
sound like?
always been fucking. He doesn't. He sounds like yeah, yeah.
Oh,
Um,
Link,
Oh, doesn't even
Link
have a
still
voice?
doesn't talk.
Damn.
Link still
voice is
doesn't talk
perfect.
in Breath of the Wild. Yeah, no, that's Link. Huh?
But I think with Legend of Zelda, it's kind of like it depends on the game.
But then you
Because,
like Legend of Zelda for the story. Then you don't really like it for
I do.
yeah,
the gameplay. Yeah,
like
but there's nothing wrong
I
with
like Ocarina of Time, but I don't really care about Majora's Mask too much. You know?
We are the exact opposite on that opinion.
it. Isn't it?
Yeah.
Doesn't it use the same gameplay stuff except one of them just adds a mask into it, right?
Nah, I mean it's the same. Like, no, there's different gameplay loops in those. That's for damn sure. Story's different
Which one's
too.
the one with the moon?
That's Majora's Mask.
I played like 15 minutes of that game.
Yeah.
Oh no, I played the one with the tree too. I guess I played 15 minutes of both Zelda games. I
mean,
was not on board.
Yeah, you're just not
Like,
a
I
Zelda
like-
fan.
But not that. But
Nothing's
like, I
canon,
love
that's right.
Twilight Princess. I love Wind Waker stuff.
Oh, you're so good.
Like, I think Twilight Princess is my favorite Zelda.
But when you talk about it, you talk about how cool the story was presented to you and the villain and like how Ganon came back. Like you talk about the stories.
It's a very story-based game.
Well, Wind Waker took the Zelda thing, kind of flipped it on its head a little bit.
I have actually put. I want to say at least a couple hours into Wind Waker. I have actually played that
Like,
one,
Wind
but it
Waker-
wasn't because it was a Zelda game.
I
liked
love
it.
the story. Like, I didn't
Yeah,
really
okay,
care
that's
too much
fair.
about my little conductor baton thing.
Conductor baton,
I liked
that's
going
very-
around in the boat. That was so much fun. But I didn't care
Yeah.
about the story. I could not even tell you what the story about Wind Waker is, but I did play some of it. I just like being in a boat and doing stuff.
Yeah.
Talking ship is cool too.
Boats
Yeah.
are okay. They can be.
Yeah.
What about Assassin's Creed?
Oh, that's an interesting
Another-
one.
That is
Like-
another, like, it depends on the assassin.
Because we're on a new trilogy now.
If
With
you
the most recent trilogy, I guess, finishing up with this Viking one, because I think people are counting this as because it's its own thing. But I think
It's
they
following
said
the
this is
same girl.
last one.
it's following
Yeah,
the
I think
same
they said this
girl.
is the last one of this girl, but I haven't gotten far enough to know what happens. So
But I think Assassin's Creed is kind of like I was saying with Zelda. It depends on the assassin, right?
which one's your least favorite Assassin's Creed?
3.
My least favorite one,
Really?
Three.
I think 3 is amazing.
3.
I can love 3, but I think the one I like the least is probably a tie between Black Flag and Odyssey.
You don't like
Really?
ships.
You
You don't like ships.
You don't? Do you not like the
I
ships?
just like I hate that being, and that was why Wind Waker took fucking 2 years for me to beat.
It's the traversal time.
It's traversal time, bro. I've got to wait so long before I can get to the thing, and then like when Black Flag made basically the ship another fucking character essentially
Yeah.
that you have to take care of. That I never finished Black Flag because I didn't care about my fucking ship.
I love Black Flag and Rogue are my favorite.
But like I loved 3, I fucking loved 2.
All 3 twos were great. Brotherhood and
Oh yeah,
Revelation.
because that one had like multiple.
Yep. You had the
all the
Ezio
Ezio.
trilogy.
I love Unity. I think Unity is
Unity-
actually my
Unity
favorite.
is
I
slept
think
on because of how
Unity is
bad it
definitely
came
my
out.
favorite.
Unity's
I
got a
did
good
love
story.
Unity.
Yeah, Syndicate was fun, but I mean,
Syndicate
I didn't
was-
feel like an Assassin's Creed game.
Syndicate
didn't
is
give a
standard.
shit.
Syndicate was standard Assassin's Creed affair. The reason I
It
dislike
wasn't
3.
even. It was just weird.
The reason I
I
dislike
like
3.
the first Assassin's Creed more than Syndicate.
I like the first Assassin's
just
Creed more than
didn't-
3.
I just didn't like Syndicate at all.
I don't know why you don't like 3. What don't you like?
Connor is such a shitty pro tag. That's why.
Connor's tight.
Connor Tharp was an awesome pro.
Connor is such a
Hatham? Are you upset that he killed Hatham? That's not even a
No.
spoiler. That game's been out for so long.
no. I'm upset because Connor's a wooden block of bullshit. He has no personality. He's bland. Like going from everything Ezio, this fucking larger than life character, this awesome fucking dude, to a fucking wooden block of a character in Connor took me out of everything
I don't
so
think
much.
Connor's a bad character.
I do.
I
I
don't
don't
think-
I don't like Connor at all.
I
don't
mean,
like
I do
Connor.
think that who was it? Arno was in Unity. I loved Arno. It was my
Arno
favorite
was great. Arno was great. Fucking Russ may hate Black Flag, but fucking Kinway is an awesome character.
Good character. I didn't care about the boat.
It's the gameplay of it. But yeah, I mean, I liked Arno. I mean, I think that one. I also think that one was like that one had a
Like,
lot
it's
of cool systems.
I love Misty Oath, but I don't give a fuck about
Misty Oath,
sailing
though.
on
Idiot, chatting.
fucking seas.
Yeah.
Let me just.
I mean, I do think, yeah, the traversal in that one takes forever, and I think also the
Odyssey
the
was a
map being as
slog.
big as it is, I haven't even finished it.
Odyssey
Like
was a slog.
whenever they after Odyssey, when they were like, "Oh yeah, we got Vikings," I was like, "Yo, Vikings, sick!" And then they're like, "But we got boats too," and I was like, "You know what? I think I'm gonna pass on this one."
Boats mean nothing in that. Like I have barely touched a boat in that game. Don't worry. Literally,
I
it's
don't know,
just a
maybe
lot. You don't upgrade the boat like you do in Odyssey or in
Yeah,
Black
it's
Flag.
no resources. You upgrade the town you live in, which is
Yeah,
fun.
that's fun. The settlement upgrades. Yeah, settlement upgrades are great.
The gameplay also feels really solid. Like when you kill somebody with an axe, it feels like visually.
It's so
like,
weighty. Yeah.
Developing my little city town or whatever, because I did that in 2. I fucking loved it. The
Yeah,
Yeah, you
it's
do
the
the same
exact,
thing in-
exact same
in-
thing. Exact same
Yeah.
I
thing.
love
Yeah.
Exact same thing.
I need to play more of it, but
Same. I've been Phoenix Rising's been taking up my open world time right now. The game's really good.
I think sometimes I just need to mentally prepare myself for an open world game because
Yeah.
sometimes it's just so many missions and stuff. I'm like, there's so
It's
much
overwhelming.
to
a
do.
lot to
You don't have to do it.
See, but that's hard for me. Like, it's hard for me to like pull myself.
Like
all the way.
Cyberpunk took up all of my. I haven't played
been
Cyberpunk.
my struggle with. There's so many fucking missions, dude,
Yeah.
and you don't have to do them all, but they're all there.
And I think
Yeah.
the worst thing with Cyberpunk though is a lot of them are interesting, but then at some point you're just like, I just want to see the conclusion of this. I'm not really in the mood to deal with everything. I don't want to drive from point A to point B, kill some dudes point A to point, which is fine because that's an RPG, right? That's how those games work. But
Right.
sometimes I'm just not in the mood to do it.
Yeah. All right.
Collectathons. I hate anything collectathons. Like the
Oh
tarot card
no!
things like, I mean,
Collectathons are my jam.
I don't
Josh
mind.
knocked out all of the collectathon things in freaking Cyberpunk like ASAP. There's a mission
How's that-
involved collecting like 7 or 8 of something. He's like, I got all the tarot cards. I'm
Let's
like,
go.
dude, I can't mentally do that. I
I
just
love it.
and
Yeah.
it's marked on your map to do it too. I was like, nah. Too much.
I'm not
So
gonna
good.
do that in Cyberpunk, dude.
Maybe when they fix it, it needs to be fixed because I think the newest patch they said
It dropped today.
I
It
can't
dropped
use
yesterday or
this.
today.
I think I read that it already has game breaking bugs in it. I haven't even read it in detail.
that comes down to like my whole thing I was saying, like Elder Scrolls. Like it's harder for me to get invested in a first-person RPG.
Yeah. Other.
But
But
that's just me.
are you interested in it then when you play it as a third person?
Yeah, because I can see my character.
Shit,
You
Russ
know?
played Russ played ESO with me for a while. Me and Russ grinded out ESO
What
a
about
lot.
like Fallout?
Yeah.
That means you like Fallout too, right? Like
I played Fallout entirely in third person.
Yeah. Well, because even the gunplay doesn't matter too much because you have VATS. So
Yeah, you
Not in the
I was
fourth
just
one.
thinking
Well, no,
about-
the fourth one you have VATS. I'm thinking 76. You don't have VATS. We don't talk about that game.
Don't play. Yeah, but I mean, 3 New Vegas and 4 have VATS.
Yeah, they all have VATS. Yeah. And that makes
Yeah.
it feel more RPG-ish too. For that, I think we're getting.
Yeah,
a-
so-
Like I played all those games in third person.
yeah.
And-
So I think at the end of the day, this is all like a personal preference, and it's also like a.
I think
depending on
another
what it
game
is.
we could add to this is like I was saying before the cast, like Anthem. Like I don't
Yeah.
know, the story.
I don't
is
know the
most
story of Anthem. I'm gonna be
Yeah.
honest.
skeleton thing that BioWare has ever fucking put out.
It's-
But the gameplay, bro,
yeah.
I love it.
But we've been
They-
saying that
and
about
then-
that from Anthem for a
They're
while.
like, it's broken, bro. They fixed that shit. Fine.
Yeah, I can honestly tell you, I beat Anthem. I can't even tell you a single thing about that story.
You fly the robot Iron Man
I
suit.
just flied the robot and I killed what I was told
Fly
to kill.
the robot.
Yeah, I can't honestly tell you. Yeah,
That's what I'm here for. I want to fly the fucking mech suit and fucking kill shit with it. I mean,
yeah. I get. You get the Anthem's a good point. Like the gameplay in that is what keeps you
Oh.
going because you sure as hell don't remember the story. I don't.
like Fat Man gets his ass kicked by Big Boss Guy, and then we go.
I don't
some shit.
remember why we went back to fight the final boss. That we fight the final boss.
I don't remember the importance of it,
See?
but just
You
that it
don't
was
remember.
Damn.
It's just a forgettable story. It's super forgettable.
yeah.
Anyone
it's
here
not-
that says that Anthem has top-notch story is obviously
Yeah,
just
but no one's arguing
never read a
that
book.
with Anthem. Everyone's basically just talking more about how tight the gameplay
Like-
loop is.
He's like cleaning her right now as she's sleeping.
was just great. I mean, obviously it had like optimization issues and shit, but what they sold you was what you saw. You know,
That's true.
unlike
Mhm.
unlike Cyberpunk, which is like, oh, if you got the fucking best shit in the world, I mean, yeah, it'll look pretty great. But if you're
Just can't
like
see it.
freaking Nick with his like 10,000-year-old PS4. I mean, you're playing Roblox, bro. Like,
Don't shit on Roblox, dog.
Yo, I'll play Roblox.
you guys can play Roblox.
So I think at the end of the
And
day,
Minecraft.
I think at the end of the day we can agree that like everything's like pretty subjective.
Hell, even
and
Minecraft. I play Minecraft in third person, bro.
Oh, that's weird. Oh, that's weird.
Can't do that. I'm surprised that you do.
Oh my god, you're a fucking weird asshole. How could you do? God dang.
How do you sleep at night knowing that you
I don't know.
Yeah.
Like-
in third person?
Like, I like if I'm not.
Ugh.
How do you build things in third person?
It's the same as first person.
No, it's not. You can't be near as precise.
What do you mean? I can see
How
all
many
the.
times do you need to knock down something that you've already put down?
I don't know. I just
How
built
many-
a house.
How
I
many
played long
times?
enough to build a house.
We were
and-
about
I
ready
mean,
to
we
ra-
played the forest together. I mean, we've not.
We were about ready to wrap up this cast, and Russell drops a bomb like he plays Minecraft in third person. Oh my god.
We don't play Minecraft together, anyways. So. It's not,
Oh, that hurts. I don't know how I feel about that.
I think another one would be RuneScape. I couldn't tell you.
RuneScape doesn't have a story.
I don't know.
Well, again, so overall, you are attracted to a gameplay loop more than you are a story. In general.
but not entirely. Because like I said, Last of Us, I could give a single shit about that fucking gameplay loop. I don't care about the gameplay loop. I'm there for the fucking plot.
Okay, games you play, games you come back to over and over again. Are you coming back to replay the story because you still like the story so much, or does the gameplay loop bring you in?
Well, that's for like most games. Like it's the gameplay loop of the multiplayer. I feel like if it has that that kind of that onto the game, you know what I mean?
Okay, so you wouldn't come back just to play a single player game again once you beat it.
If I beat Call of Duty's campaign, I'm not coming back to play the fucking campaign again.
Well, no.
I wouldn't replay Spider-Man hundreds of times.
Thank you. That's what I'm getting at. Would you replay Last of Us? Would you replay Final Fantasy 15? Would you replay Final Fantasy 15? That's a game you've beaten. That's a big RPG. Would you replay that?
That's why I loved the story. I loved the gameplay, but I don't think I would replay it from the beginning again.
Okay. If you were to replay
Same
it,
with
would you come back for the story? Or would you come back for how tight the gameplay was?
Yeah, it's a tough one, right?
For 15, it's a little column A, column B, bro.
Okay.
You have to be in the mood then to play it. At that point, you need to be in the mood to
a whole
play.
different space than it was when it was at launch. You know.
That's true. You're definitely right. So I think that's what it comes down to at the end of the day is that's a good thing for us to kind of like.
Then you look at 7. Like I'd replay 7 from the start. 7 remake. You know, I'd replay the shit out of that from
Well,
the
they have
beginning.
New Game Plus, don't they?
I mean, it's the chapter select thing.
Oh, okay.
You know
That's
that-
what it is. Yeah.
Or the JRPGs or whatever.
Yeah.
But,
So-
like,
so
you
you
go-
jump back in for that.
Well, yeah.
What again? If you had to make a choice between one of the two instead of being on the fence, what draws you back? Cloud Story or the gameplay?
In 7 remake, it's definitely the story.
Okay. And I know we're going on a game-to-game basis. I know it's extremely subjective. We have established that.
See? I told you.
Yeah.
Definitely game to game. Because like I keep saying, like Call of Duty or Halo, like you're coming back to the multi. You're not coming back to see if Captain Price did the thing. You know he does the thing. He does it every time he does the thing. You know?
How dare you?
How dare you?
How dare you?
I'm coming-
All right. Well, that was a fun discussion for the day. That was actually like just a lot of good back and forth, everything like that. Chad, if you guys got anything to say, anything you wanted to, any opinions you have, everything, let us know now. We're gonna start wrapping it up. We will be streaming later today. Yep.
We just haven't decided exactly what.
We don't know what time yet. Keep an eye on the Twitter and the Instagram and everything like that for what time we're going to go live. We're going to play more Dead by Daylight. We had a lot of fun doing that after the cast last time. So we're going to do that again this week. Hopefully Russell screams like a little girl again from Michael Myers, just sneak him up on him out of nowhere. Because that was super, super duper funny. If you haven't already, give us a follow on the Twitter. What do you mean C3? Same at the Instagram. What do you mean C3? YouTube is the official What Do You Mean podcast. We upload
At
all
Twitch
of the
too.
episodes.
Don't forget to follow our Twitch.
Yep, you got at twitch.tv/proftoaster and twitch.tv/RamenCipher. That's Charles and Russ's personal stream. I stream here on the cast channel, so if you see anything go up on the cast, it's usually me streaming, unless we state otherwise. Charles and Russ do have access to stream here. It's just a matter of when they do. But follow their other channels too. Give them some love. They stream there at least once or twice a week. So just like I said, Charles was streaming SD Gundam on Friday.
G Generation Cross Race. Man, is that a title?
That is a fucking title. So
They love their long.
hit them all up, all that jazz. And next week, same time, same place. Don't know what the discussion is going to be for next week. We're going to talk about that throughout the week, but I hope you guys come join us back and everything when we get going for next week. And until next time, we will see you all later.
Bye, buddy.